You ready, dear?
Yes.
Yes?
I am.
Should we do it then?
Yes.
Hello, welcome to the channel. If you're new and find it useful, please like and subscribe. Today I've got 3 different cook systems to show, which I've got for hiking, particularly 2 alcohol burners and 1 gas burner. So I've just come to a little island here called Sudensari to show you. Let's have a look. Okay, we have here 3 cook systems actually. 2 pots, but 3 cook systems, and I'll show you them as quickly as possible. I've got a little bit of a race against time because I'm on a small island called Sudensari, Wolf Island, in the middle of a big lake, Bayanne, in the middle of central Finland. The sun's going to go down in an hour, and I have to get back before the sun goes down, before it gets dark, because I don't have lights on the boat. So let's do this a little bit quickly. What I'm going to look at is three different things that I need to heat water, essentially, when I'm hiking these through hikes overnight. Basically all I need to do is heat water. A dehydrated meal in the evening is enough for me, and hot water for a hot drink, usually coffee, and then in the morning porridge, which I'll make with water. So basically I just need to heat water. So I have these cook pots. This one is a Stanley steel cook pot, and this one is a Toaks titanium cook pot. I think this one is the 750 millilitres. Both good. I can't say which one I prefer. I like them both. But everything I have fits inside these cook pots. So the first one is the X-Boil, which is that. It's tiny. It's very light. Is it 47 grams complete? 47 grams is nothing. Basically it's that little tin, which I'm throwing on the floor, and this very, very thin piece of, is it steel or titanium, I'm not sure. Anyway, weighs nothing. So here we have 3 elements in one, and this is what I'll be looking at with each one. First one is the burner, which is that, something to create heat. The second one is a windshield, which in this case is this. It folds up. Put those in there, pull it back, and it's locked. So there's the windshield, which goes around the burner. And the third thing I'll need for each of these is a pot stand, which is this. With the X-Boil, this is it. We have inside here 3 little clips, and the 3 little clips go onto the windshield here, here, and here, and that creates a pot stand. So we have the burner, We have the windshield and we have the pot stand all in one. The whole lot weighs 47 grams. That's nothing. You don't even notice you're carrying that. This is the newest one that I bought. I've only had this about a month. The three different things I bought over some years. But this one I've only had a month, and I bought it because it has this inside, this graphite felt. So you pour the alcohol onto that and it soaks it up and it doesn't run out. So if you're anywhere near a tent or if you're in the forest and it tips, you're not going to spill alcohol all over your tent, all over the forest floor and start a fire. It'll keep it contained. So it's a safety issue. But also it's very light. So I'll do a little bit of a boil test with each of these. I'll boil 200 millilitres of water and see how long they take. But that's the first one. That's the X-Boil. That's how it works. Let's find the second one. The second one then, anybody that has done any hiking will know this. They'll know what this is. This is the Trangia alcohol burner. I guess this is the go-to alcohol burner. This is what people buy. It's been on the market for many years, and I think the competition, this is the one they try to at least even equal or beat, but not many come close. It's light, it's simple, there's nothing to break, no moving parts. It's basically a pot. You put the alcohol inside it, you let it bloom, which means that the alcohol vaporizes and then comes out of these little holes in the side, and you use it. Takes about 15 seconds to bloom. There's no reason why you can't put a pot on it immediately, of course. Then you have this lid which has an O-ring in it, so you can put the alcohol in, seal it up, and in theory you can take it with you with the alcohol inside. I don't trust it. Many do. I haven't heard of people having so many problems, but I take my alcohol in little containers, little bottles for safety. An advantage of this one is that it also has this, which you can put over the top. This is like a simmer device. So with the X-Boil, basically it's on off. You light it, it burns, and that's that. So if you need to just heat water, that's the thing. You just light it up and let it burn. This one has got a simmer ring, so if I'm heating water, I can leave it totally open or off. But if I'm frying anything, well, then I can put the simmer ring on, close it up, and make the flame smaller so it doesn't burn whatever I've got in a frying pan, for example. So that's the Trangia. I'll find some statistics and put them up for you later in the video. But there's not much to choose from between those, except for this one's a little bit heavier, but it has the simmering. The X-Boil is lighter, but it's not quite so controllable. You need a windshield, of course, and a pot stand. So Trangia do have their own, the Trangia Triang, which I looked for but couldn't find, and eventually found this Bushcraft Essentials set, which I'm really glad that I did find in the end, because I think it's better. It's a 2-in-1 system. So first of all, you can use it as a windshield and pot stand for the Trangia, but then you can also use it as a little stove, so you can fill it with wood and twigs in a different arrangement. You make it up and use dried wood and twigs, so you don't need any fuel to take with you. This works very well, actually. It's very thin steel pieces, light. I mean, it is very light, but nowhere as light as the X-Boil. So that's the pot stand and windshield that I use for this. I'll build it up in a minute and you can see what it looks like. Alright, before we start, let's have a look at this Bushcraft Essentials pot stand. I'll try and build it for you on camera. They say it's easy. It is quite easy, but somehow I always seem to find it a little bit of a faff, I have to say. So there are 3 wall pieces. This clips into this, twist it and it locks. And then the second one, like this, twist it, it locks. Then somehow I have to put this in the bottom and support it without it falling apart and lock the 3rd pieces together. Which, if I'm lucky this time, I've done it first time. There we go. No, I haven't. That's not in properly. There. So that's it. This side is open. It has an opening, you can see. So that's where I can feed the twigs and sticks. If I use it as a little stove like that, then this base will be in the top slot, and then in the bottom slot I'll put this ash collector so the ash doesn't drop on the floor. But if I'm using the burner, then it goes in the bottom like that. The Trangia fits very nicely inside, perfect fit, and also it's the perfect height for a pot to sit, about an inch, 2.5–3 centimeters from the flame. There's a little boat going past, if you can hear it. Hope it doesn't disturb too much. Fishermen interested in what I'm doing. So that's that. And then here on the top I've got a little pot stand which I can clip on. Pot will fit on this anyway, but this is a little bit extra piece to fit on the top. And then this this hole is big enough that I can, when I want to extinguish the flame, just put the lid through the hole and put it out. So that's that. Right, in this Stanley cook pot I have, again, if anybody's familiar with hiking products, they'll recognize this. This is the MSR Pocket Rocket 2. Look at that, tiny. This is a gas burner, 3 little arms which fold out, and that creates your pot stand. Here you have some little dividers which help, if the wind's blowing, it'll help to keep it alight and keep the flame burning. Not enough, but it helps. And then here is the valve. You can adjust the valve, and that's highly adjustable. This is great, particularly on longer hikes. The advantage of the gas burner is that it's quick, and on longer journeys it's probably lighter, because if you take alcohol for a multi-day hike, you start to need quite a lot, and the weight of the liquid adds up. But then of course with the gas you need to carry always the gas cylinder. But it's controllable, it's easy, it's quick. The disadvantage of this is the noise. Many people say, I mean, it's called Pocket Rocket. It does sound like a rocket when you light it up. It's very noisy. When you try it at home you think, okay, yeah, it is quite noisy, but when you're on camp in the forest and everybody's nice and quiet and chatting and eating their food, and you light this thing up, it doesn't take long, it's only a few minutes, but it's quite a racket actually for a few minutes. It disturbs disturbs me a little bit. So, but yeah, it's only a short time. How does that work? Inside here I have a small gas cylinder. Which fits nicely inside that Stanley cook pot. This just twists onto the thread easily, he says, like that. No. And then once it's on, you're ready to cook. Pot sits on the top. Turn the gas on and off there. The only thing you don't really have here is any decent wind protection, so these help a little bit, but not very much. So I bought this. This is an Optimus titanium wind protector. It's spring loaded. Again, it weighs nothing, and it clips onto the rim of the gas cylinder. So if I can do this one-handed, it just clips like that onto the rim of the gas cylinder. Let's put it down and do it very simply like that, and that creates a very, very effective windshield, and it weighs very little. It goes around the pot, so it doesn't take up any extra space in the pack. So with that, I have my burner, I have my pot stand, and I have my wind protection with the Optimus. Very effective system. Right, a few facts and figures. The X-Boil, there it is. The X-Boil costs in Finland around 50 euros. You can find that just less, 49.50 euros complete. So with that you get the burner, this with graphite felt inside. You get this, which is the wind protection and the pot stand in one, and the little pot stand clips that go on the top. So 50 euros for the whole set. That's that. The whole lot weighs 47 grams. So there's nothing else. You need your alcohol, of course, but I'm not going to go into the weights and costs of the fuels. Not now, in so much detail at least. So that's 50 euros complete, and it weighs 47 grams. The Trangia. The Trangia itself costs, let's have a look, 15 euros. So that's very cheap in Finland, 15 euros. But then of course that's just the burner. You'll need a pot stand, something to put it on. The Trangia, their own Trangia Triang, costs an extra 32 euros. This one that I've got, this Bushcraft, costs 35 euros, almost the same, few euros more. But then you've got the versatility that you can use it also as a little stove if you want to use it as a wood stove. So I actually prefer this. It's much lighter as well, actually. So the total cost is, if you get it with this stove, it costs 50 euros, exactly the same as the X-Boil. And if you get it with the Trangia Triang, then it's 47 euros, basically the same. However, the weight is a lot more. If you have this setup, this is 360 grams, whereas the X-Boil is 47. So you're over 310, 317 grams extra weight with this. I'm not so worried about that kind of weight. You know, I'm not an extreme ultralight backpacker. I just take which one I think will suit me better on the trip. But it is, that X-Boil is considerably lighter. There's no weight in that at all. So this costs 50 euros, the X-Boil costs 50 euros. The X-Boil is 47 grams, this is 360 grams. So there is a weight difference otherwise. But then of course on this one you get that flexibility of wood burning stove, and also the simmering on the Trangia, which you don't have on the X-Boil. And then finally we have this MSR Pocket Rocket with the Optimus titanium windshield. Pocket Rocket costs about €45 here in Finland, so again not much difference in the price, €5 cheaper. And the windshield was actually quite cheap. That's only €15 for this. I found it, €15. That's quite cheap. So that's €60 in total. It's €10 more expensive than the alcohol burners. But then, of course, with the gas, you have so much more controllability, and it's much easier to cook on than the alcohol burners, if you don't mind the noise. The weight, if you have this set up, the total weight is 160 grams. So that's in the middle. The X-Boil is 47 grams. This is 160 grams, and the Trangia is the heaviest at 360 grams with all of the pot stands and wind protection. These are my setups, of course. You can play around with your own setups and find something that works for you. This is just an example of what I've got and what I use and the differences. So which one do I like the best? Which one works the best? And which one will I take with me the next time I go on a hike? That's the question. What do you think? Which one do I like the best? I can't answer that. There's one phrase that springs to mind when I think about equipment for hiking and camping. It all depends. If you take a tent, which tent is the best? It all depends. It depends on whether you're hiking, whether you need a lightweight tent, whether it's bad weather, whether you need the space. If you think about a sleeping pad or a sleeping bag, which one do you take? It all depends. So which one would I take? It all depends on which way I'm hiking and what I'm doing. Basically, I do like this Pocket Rocket because it's easy and quick. If I'm on a longer hike, 3 or 4 days, this is great. This is great, and I know that I've got enough fuel. It's all in there. But I do like these alcohol burners a lot because they're quiet. It's nice to have a real flame at the end of the day. When you've had a long hike, you light this and you get a real flame, and it's nice and it's silent. So it's very nice to have an alcohol burner. So if I'm on a short trip or just overnight, I'll take one of these because it's just nice. Very simple, very, very simple. Nothing to go wrong. You can rely on it, you can trust it, and it's very quiet and nice just to have that naked flame. So I do like these. So on a overnight or a couple of nights, I'll definitely take the alcohol burners. And at the moment, I like this. I know it's again, I've just bought it, so it's probably just new to me, but I do like it. It's very simple. Put some alcohol in it, light it up, use it to heat the water, and when it goes out after a minute, it's cool enough that you can pick it up and put it back in your pack and take it away. The Trangia is also very good, but I do like that at the moment. There's a woodpecker over there, I can hear. Let's do a very quick test and see how long it takes each one to heat 200 millilitres of water. The sun's going down fast, but we should have time for that. X-Boil. This is denatured alcohol. What does denatured mean? It means it's normal alcohol, pure alcohol or ethanol, with poison in it, so you can't drink it. Denatured alcohol. So if you take this, you'll need to take a bottle of wine. You can't drink it. It's 20 millilitres of that. That should be plenty. You can see, there you go, it's not coming out. It's all soaked into the felt. And then if we can find the lighter, we'll light it up. Yep, can't see it. You can't see the flame, but it is burning, believe me. Put that there. And then 200 millilitres of water. Enough for a cup of coffee. Put that on, and I'll start the stopwatch. It's 4 minutes 30 seconds, and it's getting very close. Yeah, in fact, that's almost there. Give it a few more seconds so I can say that it's actually boiling. Yeah, okay, that's boiling. So it's 4 minutes 50 seconds for the X boil, and that's a nice boil. I'm going to use that in my Cedar Summit collapsible mug with these heatsink edges to make a cup of coffee to have with my chicken sandwiches. There we go. Waste not, want not. Can I pick that up? Probably with this. There we go. Perfect. Let that burn out, and then we'll start the next one. Erik Normark, if you're watching, you're an inspiration. Right, next is the Trangia. Again, let's put 20 millilitres of alcohol in there. Can I do it through that? Yes. There we go. Yeah, it's about 20 millilitres. Light him up. Yep, that's going. In the time it takes me to put the water in the pot, it will have started to bloom. You can't see the flame, can you? Can you? Maybe not. Okay, 200 millilitres of water. Lid on and start the stopwatch. You can see the flames coming out around the edges with this more than it did with the X boil. The X boil concentrated the heat underneath a little bit more. Does that make any difference? I don't know. Not quite there. 5 minutes, so it's longer than the X boil. But guess what? Am I in a hurry? I'm not in any hurry. Perfectly happy to sit here and wait an extra 30 seconds for some water to boil. Almost. Alright, I think that's it. 5 minutes 45 seconds. So it's about a minute slower than the X boil actually, which I knew that this is a little bit slow because I have tested it before, but I didn't realise it was actually so much slower. Oh, and the flame's gone out as well. So 20 millilitres is just enough to boil 200 millilitres of water, whereas 20 minutes with the X-Boil, it boiled it a minute more quickly and it burned for longer as well. So the X-Boil, the little X-Boil is more economical and quicker. That's quite interesting. The X-Boil wins out of the two alcohol burners, I have to say. All right, let's try this Pocket Rocket, shall we? I have this pot stand here, this gas canister stand. It just cylinder just clips into it, makes the whole thing more stable, so it's not going to fall over. There we go. That's that. Pot goes on the top like that. 200 millilitres of water we'll put in straight away. There we go. And then we'll light it up, and now you'll hear something. It's going to sound like NASA space station, this. Oops. There we go. How's that for a noise? Lid on. Start the timer. 1 minute and it's on the edge already. So there we are. 1 minute 15 seconds and it's ready. That's so much faster than the alcohol. 1 minute 15 seconds. The X-Boil was what, 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes, 4 minutes 40 seconds. And the Trangia was over 5.5 minutes. 1 minute 15 seconds for the Pocket Rocket. So you can see it is considerably faster than the alcohol stoves. The sun is setting fast. So I'm going to have to make tracks and get back before it goes dark. Thank you very much for watching then. I hope it was a little bit useful for you. Again, if you're interested in the channel, please subscribe and like. It helps me a lot. But for now, from the beautiful evening here in Finland, see you on the trail.